Well, I'm delighted to be joined by the Irish International Golfer and Sports Direct Ambassador, Aideen Walsh, who, following Sports Direct's link up with the KPMG Women's Irish Open, Aideen, who is their ambassador for the tournament, will take place in Dromoland Castle from September 22nd and has also partnered with the new Get a Grip campaign as part of the launch. You can get your tickets for the Irish Open over at kpmgwomensirishopen.ie. Aideen, you're very welcome to Off the Ball. Is this a case with the Irish Open just around the corner? Like, are you one of these people that kind of checks off the dates on the calendar, or are you more so just waiting to arrive into the week itself?
Yeah, it's funny because now I kind of feel like the countdown is on. Like, I think I've known for the last week that I was playing, but yesterday it was only kind of public, so I could only tell people.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of an extra bit of excitement. So it is kind of a countdown case now. Like, it all seems to be kind of building up to the big event.
Did you get to tell family and friends before the news went public,
I
or were you having to keep those cards close to your chest?
I told my family, and that was it.
What was,
Eamon was like, "Don't tell anyone." So I was like,
what was the reaction like at home?
yeah, they were all delighted. Like, I kind of thought that I would maybe get a chance because I am a member in the golf club. So they had they kind of thought maybe we'll get an invite, but getting it confirmed then was really nice.
Yeah, I'd say it's a huge boost as well to kind of know that your summer hasn't gone unnoticed in that respect as well, because you've been in quite a rich vein of form as well between the AIG Cup and winning up in Ulster. And God, you've been like, I know you're a teacher away from golf. I don't want to put your good form next to the fact that you've been off work and the fact that you don't have the stress of dealing with kids to succeed on the golf course. But I can't help but putting two and two together there.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I've been going since January, to be fair. Like, the season started in January, and like I was playing and teaching, trying kind of balancing them both. But obviously, it makes it a little bit easier when you're on your summer holidays and you have more time to be playing. But I'll just try and build on the summer and see can I continue on in 2 weeks' time in Durand.
How do you balance the two? Because like both are pretty time consuming and they are
Yeah.
professions, whether you're an amateur golfer or not. It's still, when you're competing at the level you're competing at, there's still a lot of work goes into being that good. So how do you manage to balance the two?
Yeah, I just have to be so organized. Like, I'm working part-time. So like I'm subbing 3 days a week roughly, and I'm actually doing a master's as well. So I find that, let's say, November, December, January, I'd be busier with school and college, and then I'll kind of take a step back from that, and then the golf picks up.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you'll be busier with one of them and the other, but it's just being really organized, and like my practice sessions would be very kind of structured, and they wouldn't be just it's real meaningful practice because I know I don't have like endless hours like someone who might be doing golf full time.
Yeah, because some people who might see like amateur next to the name might think of it's like it's somebody who only gets to pick up the clubs on occasion and just happens to be especially gifted. But there is a lot of work that goes into being at your level too.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it's nearly like a full-time job, and like the amateur season is so intense now. Like, you're competing all the time. So like even this year, I was abroad on average like once a month, and when you're you're going away for like a week. So it takes up so much time, and then when you're at home, like, you're preparing for the next tournament.
And when you're going abroad, like obviously it takes a lot of kind of, I'd imagine sponsorship kind of help to get over the line with those kind of things.
So like I suppose I'm lucky because I'm involved in like Golf Ireland's funded high performance program. So like I get funding through Golf Ireland for those international trips.
Yeah. Um, on the domestic scene as well, like as we mentioned, you had the defensive of the Ulster stroke play up in Royal County Down as well. You also won the Leinster Women's Championship in Mullingar. In terms of building confidence for going into Dromoland, how have those been?
Yeah, so like I feel like, I've played pretty well, even though the last two tournaments have been match play tournaments. So I haven't had a stroke play tournament now in a while. But like you said, I won Ulster stroke play and the Irish Close this year. I did pretty well. So you just kind of try and take the positives and move on. And there's a few things that maybe I didn't do that well during the year. And because it's the end of the year now, the Irish Open is a good chance that I could be like, okay, I can try and improve in that week.
Yeah, and you're a member as well at Dromoland as well, which I like. I want to instantly say that that's going to help, But I don't know, there's something in the back of my mind says, well, you have to set all that aside and just play the tournament as it lies, really.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just going to treat the week like any other week. Like I obviously know the course very well, but I'm still going to like approach it. I'm still going to play a practice round and do all my notes and stuff and get prepared, because that's like, I feel doing that will give me the best possible chance to play well in the tournament. Like they say home advantage, but I'd say it can be a negative thing too, between expectations and stuff.
Yeah, and like the worst thing you could do is go in there thinking, ah, Jesus, I've played this a million times. This is grand. Like I have these on toast.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, do you play golf?
I don't actually. No.
Like anyone who knows golf, like it's anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just all on the day.
Yeah. In terms of like the preparation as well, and taking that step up, because this is obviously a ladies European Tour event, and you know you've been involved in ISPS stuff before, in terms of competition. Like, is it a massive step up for yourself, or is it something that you found yourself pretty able to cope with?
Yeah, like the week at the ISPS, I thought I was pretty happy with how I played, because again, I approached it as like, oh, it's a pro event. I had no expectations. I'm just going up to enjoy myself and kind of see how it is. But now that I have that experience and I'm getting the chance to do it again, I kind of feel like I can set like a proper goal for myself and just treat it like another tournament and see how I get on. Like I know I'm an amateur and I have a job and I am competing against people who do this full time, but I don't see why I can't compete.
In terms of as well, that ISPS event had the unique kind of thing about being like a mixed event, and that seems to be a road that both tours, the Ladies European Tour, LPGA, and I guess DP World Tour, want to investigate a little bit more as well. How did you find that situation up there?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, because even like Golf Ireland, what they do every year is they run the Ulster Stroke Play men's and women's together as well, and then the top female player and the top two male players get an invite.
Yeah.
So even being there with the guys, so Jack Hurd this year and Rob Brazel got an invite as well. So just like you'd know more people and having them there with you, it's pretty cool, all right, having the men and women. And then of course at that event for the pros, like the pay is the same, which is kind of the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, the winner of the men's tournament got the same prize money as the winner of the women's event.
You've been a pretty strong advocate for this as well, for equal pay across the two tours.
Yeah, I think like Sports Direct as well with the Get a Grip campaign, like they're pushing that as well, that they're kind of big believers that it should be equal pay, and not just in golf, in every sport. And I think this is a good chance as well with the campaign and with the Irish Open. We can try and push for equal pay in golf.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen the benefit of that as well, of the, I guess the confidence boost in the background that it can give to players as well. I mean, you just have to look at the progress that the Irish women's soccer team have made over the last couple of years and what they've gone on to do, obviously this week, and that comes off the back of them. You know, rock bottom is probably the wrong word, but they had to go as far as, you know, threatening strike and strike action to build themselves up towards equal pay, and that's obviously paid off huge benefits for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've seen that in the last 12 months, I suppose.
Yeah. In terms of like that step up, as we mentioned, like do you go around taking notes as regards watching other people? Do you like, are you one of these players who kind of focuses in their own lane when you get up to a tournament like that, or are you very much looking around you, trying to see what you can pick up from different people that might be dotted around the field?
Yeah, like in a pro event, like at the ISPS and stuff, I suppose you're trying to learn as much as you can. But then when it comes to the actual tournament and the playing days, I find that I just kind of focus on what I'm doing, because I'm just trying to kind of treat it like any other week. But like it is cool when you're in the range, like in the owner of bars beside you. It's hard to kind of not have a look and see what's going on and stuff like that, because you're already going to pick up something, whatever she's doing.
Of course, like she's become a totemic figure almost on the Irish golf scene for players like yourselves. Like what she's managed to do over the past 18 months, when you factor in Solheim and different majors and stuff, she's been phenomenal, and phenomenal for the profile of the women's game as well.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like everyone just looks up to her. She seems to be kind of setting the standard now and showing that anything is possible for us Irish players, and it's great for the younger girls coming through to be able to look up to someone like Leona and then to have Steph and Olivia coming as well is great. Like, we
Yeah,
have 3 players on the tours now, which like you didn't really have that years ago, I suppose.
that gives people like a goal. When you see all of these things kind of coalescing into one, you see like the prominence of Stephanie Meadow and Leona Maguire. You see the fact that the Irish Open is back after a 10-year gap. There feels like there's a bit of momentum behind the women's game as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like, even like I'm only playing golf like 12 years, so like basically throughout my whole golf career, I've never had anything like an Irish Open to aspire towards. Whereas now that the Irish Open's back in Dromoland, I would hope and kind of envision that it would be a standard that the younger girls could say, okay, this is happening in Ireland. You know, why can't I aim towards that? Why can't I play in an Irish Open like Leona? It should be kind of something like that that younger girls can work towards.
Yeah, and women's golf and off the ball is an association with KPMG, proudly supporting women in sport. As you say, like the fact that it's back after a 10-year gap, the fact that it's back after the COVID gap as well. I mean, when you think back of those year and a half, 2 years that you would have had in that COVID gap as well, the fact that you're combining the two careers and the two careers are pretty much shelved, as it were, this has got to be like almost like a massive celebration of the sport, as it were.
Yeah, and it's almost like a sense of pride as well. Like, it's obviously on my, I remember in Dromoland, I'm very proud Clare woman. So like a lot of my friends who like aren't golfers are all kind of like, oh, what's that? Like, what's this about? So like, I hope that people that maybe never had an interest in golf will come and watch it as well as obviously people who are into golf. But we should get a big crowd. Like, the buzz around the town is really picking up now. Like, the
Yeah.
golf club, it's always been, members have been so excited and there's been so much work going into getting the golf club ready. But now we're at the stage where people who like don't play golf are starting to hear about it, and hopefully we can kind of get more exposure for golf and women's golf in general.
Are you
Really
getting the
well.
are you getting the odd dig in the ribs or digging the arm down to town and going, oh, listen, I have a fiver on you to do this or that during the course of the tournament? Or
I haven't had that yet now.
no, that's
I'd
going to
say that's
come.
coming.
Yeah, that's going to be your next week essentially, where people are going on. And I have a quiet suspicion that you're going to do okay now in the course of the next while as well. But that's like all that helps and all that builds profile. And like the one thing that struck me as well when you see Leona and you see yourself and you see different golfers is the age profile seems much younger in the women's game. I don't know if this is something that I'm way off on, but it does seem much younger in the women's game than it does in the men's. And it does seem that there's an entry point that's available to women now that they wouldn't have been there before.
Yeah, it's funny because I played home internationals for the first time this year, and the age of the women's team was 18 to 24, and the men's team was 22 to 40.
Wow.
So the women's team just seems, it's a younger I suppose it's younger, and then people kind of, that is something that they're trying to work on. I think some people after they finish college, they leave it. Like, of
Yeah.
course, you have people that leave sport when they're 16, but then there's people who go on and play for Ireland and go to college in the States, and then when they finish, they just kind of finish. So they're trying to keep those people playing and stuff like that. But it certainly is younger. Like the girls on the Irish girls team, they're like way younger. Like, there's 14, 15. I think one of them on the team this year is only overage. So it's younger.
Wow.
They're getting, and they're just getting really good,
Yeah.
really young, which is great.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. What was your starting point, Jake? You mentioned you only started 12 years ago. That's
Yeah,
relatively late.
so yeah, I kind of have a different story to any of the other girls on the, let's say, even the Irish home internationals team.
Yeah.
Like, I only really got really competitive when I was about 17, and it was then when I kind of took off, and then COVID happened, and then last year I suppose I had a good season here in Ireland, and then this year was my first time doing like a full international schedule.
Wow.
Whereas the other girls on the Irish team would, like a lot of them would have been on like under 18 panels together, and it's kind of, a lot of the girls would go to America now. That's the route that a lot of them take, is they get scholarships and go to the States.
Did that affect your game coming to a like not competitively as late as you did? Because I guess a lot of people have like ticks built up and kind of little nuances to their game built up through playing it so young. Whereas if you came to it so late, or relatively late, did you find that you were kind of playing the ball differently, playing the game differently to those around you?
Someone said that they actually, like, when you're playing young and you have the experience of playing competitively younger, you kind of get bad habits and stuff like that. And I
Yeah,
kind of avoided that, but I didn't notice anything. Like this year, definitely probably took me a little bit longer to get used to the international stuff because I
sure.
didn't get the experience of doing that underage. But like it's just kind of exciting. I was probably more driven by my career when I was like in college and stuff. I just wanted to get my degree and get my dip done and go teaching. And now I kind of feel like I've done that and I want to kind of enjoy my golf and balance with a little bit of teaching.
Yeah. Are you happy enough to continue on the balance, or is there any kind of inkling that there could be a turning pro around the corner?
I'm pretty happy enough to continue now. I'm
Right.
enjoying the amateur stuff, and there's no plans on turning professional yet, anyways.
Yeah. It's nice to have a balance, if nothing else, really, and have several things
Yeah,
on the go.
and it's nice to have like I would imagine if you're a professional, it can get very consuming. So it's nice to go somewhere where it's just completely switching off and doing something else.
Yeah, so you opted for a profession that isn't consuming like teaching, which is grand. Um, but as regards like targets for Dromoland, is there anything like you're aiming to do for those first couple of days? Or are you just waiting to hang in there and see how the first couple of days unfold?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd like aim to make the cut, but I'll just kind of I wouldn't be too big on like outcome goals when I go to tournaments anyways, like
Hmm,
for like some people would maybe aim to be top 10 or whatever, but I'll just break it down to what I do for every other tournament and more specific goals and how I'm going to do it as opposed to where I want to finish.
sure. Well, we wish you the very best of luck once it rolls around. And tickets, as we say, are available at kpmgwomensirishopen.ie. Aideen Walsh, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you this evening.
Thanks a million. Thanks very much.